Hey guys, James Graves here and welcome back to yet another tutorial. Today I've got a really exciting video for you, one which I know at least one of you has been looking forward to. Thank you Thanaraj E. Thank you for your comment. So today I'm going to show you how to make a really easy but professional looking money clip, which you can make from all sorts of metals, but I'm just going to be using an old piece of copper pipe. The first thing to do is cut your copper pipe to length. Most pocket clips are about 2 inches long, so I'm going to cut mine at 110mm to give me enough room to fold the copper over and be left with a 2-inch clip. Next, the pipe needs to be opened up. Use the square or the jaws of a vice to mark a straight line down the pipe which is parallel to its length. Now cut along your marked line. If you watched my previous tutorial, you know I usually like to use an angle grinder, but today I'm using a Dremel with a cut-off wheel to demonstrate another way of cutting copper for those of you who don't have or would prefer not to use a big messy grinder. Just be sure to use eye protection, especially if you're using a Dremel, as the cutting discs are prone to breaking, as you can see here. The next step to opening out your pipe is to widen the gap created by your cut, and then hammer one edge down enough to get a pair of pliers or something similar in underneath to bend the other side outwards. If you have a vise, you can now clamp the outer edge of the jaws and pry the pipe apart using a flathead screwdriver, pry bar or blunt chisel. Finally, flatten the pipe the rest of the way by hammering flat and or clamping in a vise. If you have a hydraulic press, you find this is the easiest way to achieve a near perfect flat surface. Next, mark the width of your money clip. A standard width is 1 inch, so that's what I'll be going with here, but feel free to experiment. Clean up the edges of your copper material using your preferred method. If you like using a Dremel, you can use a sanding wheel and carefully go along the edge. I would usually use an angle grinder with a flat disc, or my personal favourite is simply use a metal file, as this gives you the most control over the shape of your edge, as demonstrated here. Now remove the burrs on the edge of your copper. I started with a deburring tool followed by a needle file, but either one of these on its own will also work. If, like me, you're using old reclaimed copper pipe, you'll most likely have black on the interior surface. To remove this, simply wet the surface and sand with 320 grit in the direction of the length. At this point, you should decide on your desired surface finish. If you want a polished look, you could continue with higher grits of sandpaper followed by polish. Personally, I find that 320 grit gives a copper a nice brushed finish, so I go over both sides with it and leave it there. Now, mark out the folds for your money clip. Place one mark in the centre at 55mm and another at 10mm from one end. Decide which side of the copper you want as the outside surface and keep this facing towards you as you clamp the piece at your 10mm mark using a vise or appropriate sheet metal clamps. Make sure your piece is square in the jaws, otherwise your fold will be off. Now bend the material towards you at an angle of roughly 20 to 30 degrees. Turn your piece around and place back in your vise at the halfway mark, folding your piece as far as it will go. Now fold it the rest of the way by hand, using something round to give you a nice even curve. If need be, gently tap into place with a hammer to make sure it's tight, being careful to cover your material with something if you're concerned about damaging the surface. And there you have it, your very own money clip. If you want a more rustic look, you could rough it up with a file or the cutting wheel of a Dremel, as shown here. So there it is guys, that actually turned out even better than I expected, to be honest. I don't actually make these ahead of time, I just think of an idea and then film it as I make it, so I'm actually pretty pleased with how these turned out. Now this is a second clip that I made directly after the first, it took me about 20 minutes. And that's 1 1/4 inches, which actually I prefer, to be honest, a little bit thicker. So just play around with it and see what suits you the best. So you can see how simple and easy that was, almost shockingly so, considering that these things go for like 30 quid on Etsy, but who am I to judge? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found some value in it. If you did, please do drop it a like and pop over to my previous videos. I've got other things where I'm making copper. This is the second in a copper series now. The last one was some copper handle scales for a knife, if you're interested in that. And please do comment below what you want to see next time. Without you guys' comments, I probably wouldn't have made this video. This was actually an idea from a subscriber, and then I turned that into video, so I do read those. Please do just let me know what you want to see and what you liked about this video. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can get notifications of my weekly videos. Trust me, if you follow my channel, you will never run out of ideas for weekend projects. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.